set up. Hey NAIA football fans, this is Cory Thorpe here with John Cooper, and we have made it through the longest short off season in NAIA history.
Absolutely. We are excited. The NAIA is the first collegiate league to kick off this 2021 fall season.
I am so jacked and ready for it. Let's talk about our sponsors real quick. First off, we got to talk about, we got a little bit of new branding on the show. We are now the NAIAFBALL podcast, powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Big thank you to the guys over at Temple Sporting Goods, powered by AdCraft, for making the jump and becoming our presenting sponsor.
Look at these polos, guys. We are looking, I'm an ugly joker anyways, but I look a little less ugly with this AdCraft polo.
And mine's buried behind my computer. You see, we got a little bit extra.
We got my AdCraft hat tonight.
You could have had your AdCraft hat. Thank you so much to Concordia, Mayville State. You can see on the computer.
On the computer, yeah.
I love it. That's why I had to have. Hey, look, I'll hide behind a computer to showcase those. Oh my gosh! So we have the 2021 conference predictions. Who's going to win the divisions? Who's going to win the conferences?
Can't wait to get a lot of hate about this.
Oh my gosh, we're about to get haters going to hate. So let's start with Heart of America North. Who are you going with?
Heart of America has been a really, competitive conference. On that north side, it's been a lot easier than the south side. I don't think it's going to take any surprise that me and you probably both picked Grandview. I mean, we expect Grandview to be in that playoffs again and make a run, but we definitely expect them to win the Heart North.
Yep, definitely Grandview for me as well. You've got Johnny Sullivan coming back. The real big question mark for Grandview is really replacing Devon Presley. I was talking about that on Instagram on kind of the pre-show there. How do you replace Devon Presley, and Josh Cifuentes at defensive end, and getting that bad taste out of your mouth?
Well, I think just for the Heart North, just the competition's just a little less on that side. Definitely getting better, but a little less. It's not like the shotgun of the other side with Baker, Evangel, and Benedictine.
Let's talk about the South.
There we go. Yeah.
I'll
let you go first with your prediction.
I'm going to go with Baker here. They return so much. Marco Aguinagua, 1,463 yards. J.D. Woods is coming back, almost 1,000-yard rusher. Nate Pauley adding almost 500 more rushing yards. Sam Squarlow is coming back with almost a century mark of tackles in a shortened season, along with 3 sacks, an interception, and 15.5 tackles for loss. Really and truly, it is theirs to lose.
Absolutely, and they ran the gauntlet last year, going 4-0 in the conference, with that adjusted schedule. But what's most impressive about Baker to me, not only did the offense really improve from 2019 to that 2020 season, but that defense is always stout enough to win it.
Oh my gosh, is it ever? Next up is the Mid-South Conference Appalachian Division. John, are you gonna be a traitor to your school?
I'm going to have to be. Reinhardt, I think they've won, I don't even know off the top of my head. I think it's 5 straight now, 6 straight maybe.
Something like that.
I guess the question for them is not necessarily are they going to win the division, but will they have, enough of a threat, a well-rounded threat on the offensive side of the ball, not just rushing, not just being the physical team, but able to finesse when calls at times need. I know the Hall kid, that quarterback last year, did a great job in the regular season, but probably need some more explosiveness if they want to really make a run there.
Well, he's coming back.
Yes, he is.
He is coming back. 1,900 yards through the air, almost 400 on the ground, 22 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. Took care of the ball. Otis Odom is coming back for them. They're dynamic kick returner and running back, and they have a ton coming back on defense. Really, the only big piece that they're losing is Sebastian Laguerre.
Right.
They're just going to be stacked. Faulkner's going to be really interesting with the new head coach coming in. How are they going to adjust? What's their identity going to be?
Yeah, I think Faulkner's still a couple years away, especially with just the new head coach sitting in. Even though he was previously on staff already on the defense side of the ball. But I just think Reinhardt and you see it all over the NAIA where just programs just take that big cultural shift, whereas you have like the Morningsides of the world that they're not going away anytime soon, and that's what Reinhardt's built in Appalachian.
Absolutely.
Appalachian, there you go. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Bluegrass, I think this one should be pretty cut and dry with Cameron Dukes coming back. It's got to be Lindsey Wilson.
I forgot. I had a stat that I was going to post. I posted in the regular season of how many consecutive wins Lindsey Wilson's had in the state of Kentucky. And if you guys didn't know, the Bluegrass is basically in the state of Kentucky. Georgetown's a sexy dark horse pick with the improvement they've made. The playoffs kind of showed last year that they were pretty still a gap there. I don't know how you cannot go with Lindsey Wilson with Cameron Dukes returning. I believe Boyd is returning.
Yep.
Bowman on the defensive side. It's a no-brainer there. If out of all the divisions, all the conferences, Lindsey Wilson's the no-brainer. If you had a Vegas line on it, I'm putting my house on it.
Absolutely. The big question for Lindsey is, will they keep trying to be 1-0? Will that championship kind of dull them?
Will the hunger stop? Will they be full?
Exactly. I don't think Chris Oliver's going to let up though.
No, absolutely not.
Then going on to the Mid-South Sun, you staying Seahawk fast?
Absolutely. And it's funny. Kaiser's won the past 2 games against Southeastern, the team that's number 2 there. I'm going to step off a limb here and say the gap gets much bigger between Kaiser and Southeastern.
I'm gonna take your bridge and I'm gonna extend it a little bit further.
Ooh.
I am going to say that by the end of the season, St. Thomas is going to be the number 2 team in that division.
Wow.
Not Southeastern.
I'm very impressed with Kaiser, how they're able just to run that up-tempo offense. They're able to run their bubbles, their fast screens. You got Meisinger out there, running those zone action stuff. And, I expect him to get 1,000 yards this year in a regular season.
It's going to be hard for him to do that because of how many running backs that they have. They return all 3 of Sims, Meisinger, and Burgess.
I just think there's going to be games where he's going to have 200-plus yards games. I know that sounds crazy. But the Sun division, just with the unequivocal talent up and down, there's going to be chances to do that. I think the big thing I really want to see from Kaiser is that secondary play, which has been very impressive. But when they play those top teams, it killed them last year with Lindsey able to get on perimeter. I'm eager to see how that secondary responds to some elite offenses.
Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to that. North Star is the North Star is the North Star.
Yeah, that's almost like, I know it sounds repetitive and it sounds like we're going with teams from last year, but history is a good indicator in life, Cory. History is also a good indicator in the NAIA. Dickinson State they're just going to take care of business.
Especially this year, where you've got so many of the top teams have most of their talent returning off of that COVID year.
Right.
Your top teams are going to just put a little bit more distance between themselves and the rest of the pack.
The good thing with Dickinson State is they got to play in the playoffs in the spring, got the fall. They ran through their conference last year. I don't think anyone came within 2 possessions of them last year.
Yeah, keep an eye out, of course, for Tiger Fry, a two-time All-North Star guy, and Drew Bodecker did a really good job of quitting himself. I'd like to see a little bit more growth. Had a couple too many picks for my liking.
Right.
If he can clean a little bit of that up and become a more efficient passer.
Kind of like similar to Baker, Dickinson really prides himself on defense.
Yeah.
And that linebacker, Nick Miller, he's all over the field. 72 tackles in 10 games last year. I see him getting into the triple digits in tackles.
Oh, yeah. He's actually not returning.
Oh my goodness!
The hardest thing with Hohertz, that's
yeah. So the hardest thing with this COVID season, guys, everybody was granted the extra year if they wanted it, right? Or it was kind of
Yep.
So it's hard to keep up who's staying, who's going.
Which is why for those who for those who can't see my phone back behind me, I have my show notes. I apologize for the fact that it looks like we are fuzzy right now, but we will move on to the KCAC. I think this is where we're going to have our first difference.
Absolutely. So I'm going back with Kansas Wesleyan. I think they took a big step in maturity last year with new faces on the field. Besides the 2 years that they won back-to-back KCAC championships. And then, Bethel won it technically head-to-head. But I see Kansas Wesleyan really explosive on offense and really I think they beat Bethel twice last year, and then I think they get them again this year. That's my prediction. I think Bethel finally found their groove this year and has looked absolutely impressive. And I think they will again. I think the KCAC has a chance to get 2 playoff teams in for once. With only one, with 11 teams, with only no separate divisions, I think Bethel and Kansas Wesleyan definitely have a chance to get in both.
All right, I'm gonna go with Bethel. They just bring back too much. Just talking to a bunch of folks, they're really, really impressed with what Bethel's doing. And the only person they don't bring back is Zach Esau.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a heck of a season. Let me call a timeout real quick and see if I can fix the blurriness on this video because it is horrible.
I need to get up.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah. Woohoo! The epitome of professionalism. This is what happens when you do not have. John, go ahead and sit back down.
Okay.
I'll get back in somehow.
Well, I'll just keep talking, guys. Did I mess with the green screen? Okay. So, guys, if you didn't know that NAIA has some proud history, made a post the other day about Troy State in Alabama. The FBS school that defeated LSU the year before their national championship run. They were once NAIA.
They were. FAMU as well.
FAMU as well. Grambling State as well. Just think your small school might be a different level come 40, 50 years. You never know.
You never know. Woo! All right. We look good now. Well, mostly good.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger. It's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing who's really going to be kind of that third place team in the KCAC. Will it be Southwestern? Will it be Avila? Will Avila have that giant chip on their shoulder getting the nod?
There's 4 teams we're really looking at the KCAC. I think me and you can agree. Kansas Wesleyan, Bethel, Avila, and Southwestern.
Now, the 3-way race that is the GPAC.
I'm going to be unpopular here because I know there's a lot of Northwestern fans watching us, but I'm going with Morningside. They won that regular season game against Northwestern, and we talked about it the week before in that playoff semifinal that Northwestern would have to play the perfect game and hope that Morningside made mistakes, and that's exactly what happened. It's like God touched Tyson Coma's arm and legs, and he just made ridiculous plays, which he's going to again. Once he comes back fully healthy, which he will. But
September.
I have Morningside winning that conference again for the 10th, 11th straight year.
Yeah, I mean, with Sims coming back, with Jurgensmeyer coming back, oh yeah, their quarterback's coming
Yeah.
back too. Joey
Dolanchek.
Dolanchek, 35 touchdowns, 7
Right.
picks. Caleb Schweigert is going to get a good look this year. Their defense is going to be crazy again with Tyler Wingert, Weston Schultz, Jalen Porter, Josh Miller, Drew Bessie. It just keeps on
I
going.
think the question is, can the GPAC get 3 teams again with Dort, Northwestern, and Morningside all have a chance to make
Yeah.
a deep run in the playoffs no matter who wins this conference? Just like last year, one of the teams could win it, and we could see a different team in the national championship game.
Absolutely. I mean, really for Dort, it's going to be who replaces Noah Clayberg,
Right.
the 17-year starter for Dort.
Yeah, the Hunter Renfro of the NAIA.
For real though, started his career at Iowa State as a
Right.
running back. How do you replace him? How do you replace Josh Mrazek? How do you replace David Kapmarinsky? There were some really large pieces that have left, but you still got Carter Skibout. You've still got Levi Jungling. You still got Nathan Kabonga. You've got some good pieces. How is Coach Penner going to put that back together?
Right, absolutely.
All right. Mid-States Midwest, which is the up-and-coming side, really, to me, of the Mid-States.
I'm going to go ahead and go with all of it here. I know St. Xavier probably once again the sexy pick, but all of it showed a lot last year. Just nothing made my heart better than watching some Olivet Nazarene highlights when they won the division last year. But just seeing their skill guys just being unselfish, blocking downfield, way downfield to spring ball carriers loose. That program's got a lot of good culture going on right now, so I'm going with the Tigers.
Olivet Nazarene is my pick as well. They've got a lot of good players coming back. That's really going to be a three-way race again.
Absolutely.
It's
with Roosevelt,
with Roosevelt,
Olivet, and St. Xavier. And honestly, I see St. Xavier taking a step back and finishing third.
Woo!
I have Roosevelt finishing second.
That's interesting too. Now the gauntlet that is the Mideast.
Concordia had their breakout season last year where they swept the Mideast basically. They swept St. Francis and Marion. But I'm going with Marion. I think we're going to see them get back to their form, which they were last year. If you didn't catch the ending of the San Franciscan Bowl, excuse my pronunciation on that, just where Marion just got in a 2 tight end set and just pounded the ball. I think you're going to see a lot more of that this year. They're able to control the line of scrimmage, and it doesn't matter who's running the rock for Marion. That's just their identity.
Marion's got to find a quarterback.
Right, absolutely.
I think they will, but you've got to replace Frankie Young. You've got to replace Johnny William. It's going to be tough. I'm calling it for Marion as well, but you never know in the Mideast. It could be that St. Francis, after a really nasty COVID year, comes back and goes gangbusters.
Right.
It could be that Indiana Wesleyan comes out of left field and finally becomes the team that we think they can be.
All right.
But I'm going with Marion as well. Going out to the Sooner, and I think we differ on this one as well.
I'll let you go ahead and take the first pick of that.
I'm taking Arizona Christian. They've just got way too much coming back, especially on defense, and including the thicker kicker, Nestor Higuera.
Yeah. Now, McCullough's coming back for Ottawa, right?
I do not know. I assume so.
So my pick with the Sooner Athletic Conference is going with Ottawa, just on the fact that I'm a big Austin McCullough fan, who is the quarterback there. He can sling it around, so I definitely need to check it. But they're still a very good program, without him. But it'd be a lot easier if he was there. I'm pretty sure he is there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is too. The other 2 teams that I'm going to pull out just for the fun of saying them, a couple of new squads in the Sooner.
Yeah,
you've got
Houston Baptist,
with Arkansas Baptist,
yeah.
and you've got
Louisiana College.
Thank you, Louisiana College coming in.
Louisiana College is making the D3 to NAIA jump. And then
Arkansas Baptist making the
junior
JUCO.
college jump to NAIA.
It'll be really interesting to see the journey of those two teams.
Very rare for the JUCO to NAIA jump.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. It could be one of the best seasons the Sooner has seen in a long time. Last but not least, we've got the Frontier.
You know, with COVID ramping back up, and this isn't a COVID message, the Frontier was very, kind of hit hard by COVID. More of that, their traveling distance is hard to make up games in the Frontier because they are kind of isolated out there. It takes a long time to get certain games. Carroll is always the sexy pick, but that's based on reputation a lot. They got the conference bid last year. I'm going to go with Eastern Oregon.
You're going with Eastern Oregon?
Can I change my pick?
Dadgummit, John. You're going to make my man Matthew Schwartz
I'll take it back. I'll go with College of Idaho.
If you want to go with Eastern Oregon,
I kind of want to go Eastern Oregon.
Go Eastern Oregon. We'll change the graphic. We already had our graphic set up, but we'll get it changed. I'm going with College of Idaho. I think the difference.
That's who I wanted to go with, but over the past couple of days, just looking back what Eastern Oregon's accomplished.
The line in between those two is paper thin.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna fault you for going either way with that.
Hey, this is Cameron Dukes from the national champions Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders, and this is NAIAFBALL.
And he is introducing our top 25 media poll. Had to get that in there. Thank you to Cam Dukes for partnering with us.
Awesome.
If you didn't
NIL
know,
stuff is pretty awesome.
We are working with several athletes doing small NIL deals just for doing voice work and stuff like that. Going with the 12 returning players of the year from each conference. So we thank them for doing that. So let's go and let's see our preseason top 25 media poll starting at number 25. We've got Ottawa of Arizona making it in the bottom.
I'm not sure how we're doing the playoffs this year. That's one thing we'll have to discuss. Does number 25, do you win your conference? Are you in or out?
I believe you're out. It's the same way it was last year.
Okay.
Yep, number 24, St. Xavier gets in the mix at the bottom there.
So at 23, you got Avila out of the KCAC, and then we have a tie at 21, Eastern Oregon and Southeastern.
The coaches had Southeastern ranked much higher. I feel like that was almost I hate to call it a makeup pick.
I feel like a lot goes off. You see the one loss from Southeastern last year, which very could happen again. But I think Southeastern's having a lot of shifts in personnel down there in Lakeland. I think they're going to take a little step back.
And Eastern Oregon picked to win the Frontier by the Frontier Conference Media. Like I said, the line between them and College of Idaho is paper thin.
Also, the NAIA Top 25 is not just me and Cory.
Nope.
We have other respective voters here. So if it did not match our championship predictions, that is why.
Yep, absolutely. At number 20, we've got Arizona Christian coming in.
Arizona Christian had a great year last year. And like you said, they have a lot of returnings from that conference championship team. So eager to see how they do. 19, Kansas Wesleyan. I really think Kansas Wesleyan is going to have a good year this year. Proved a lot of doubters wrong, with just the culture change that they had. Just explosive offense. Can their defense do enough to bump them up?
It's kind of the same idea with Roosevelt at 18. They rely so heavily on that running game. Can they become a little bit more varied through the air?
If you guys didn't know, Roosevelt is Chicago, right?
Yeah, right outside.
I think Roosevelt is happy that we're playing in the fall and not in January, February.
Because Lord knows they were playing through
they were playing in blizzards, guys. Just watching that, I felt bad for those kids.
I like 17 for Benedictine. That seems like a good spot for them.
Second season, under a new coaching staff from the legendary Larry Wilcox. Let's see if their own identity can be put up.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked what I saw out of them in the fall.
Right.
Or in the spring when they played a couple of games there, and we'll see how they do. 16 is Georgetown, getting a little bit more respect this year. I really think that they've got a chance to challenge for another playoff spot.
Absolutely. I think they'll find themselves maybe with a one-loss regular season again.
At number 15 is the aforementioned College of Idaho.
College of Idaho, they had to replace some guys in their shortened season last year. Those guys now have experience again. 2 years ago, we saw College of Idaho have a very good showing in the playoffs with veteran players. They got that cycle again.
Yep. Number 14, St. Francis of Indiana. Kevin Donnelly's team is ready to rock and roll.
They're steady Eddie right now. The 2016-17 champs. See if they can get back to it and challenge Concordia and Marion for that division.
They've got to replace Matt Crable. That's going to be a tall order for them.
Who was a long-time starter since a sophomore.
That's going to be a tall order.
Just talking about replacing people, number 13, Dort, the defenders who have, I've heard an excellent fall camp. Eager to see just those young guys get after it. Number 12 is the Baker Wildcats. That's mine, Cory's pick to win the Heart of America South.
Yep, Baker has a lot coming back, like we said before, and I think they're ready. They ended their season on a really nice note in the regular season, beating rival Benedictine and sending off Larry Wilcox with one more tally on the right side.
There you go.
And then at number 11 is Bethel of Kansas. Just a lot coming back, and
Absolutely.
That triple option is run so well.
Let's mention their playoff game against Lindsey Wilson. The score tells something different than what happened early. Bethel was able to do some things that probably shocked Lindsey, and so I'm eager to see how that goes.
Coach Oliver has told us on the record multiple times how impressed he was with how well run that flex bone was for Bethel. So, look, that's high praise. At number 10 is who always seems to be number 10, no matter what the year or what the season, Dickinson State.
Dickinson State, we know they're probably going to go undefeated in the North Star. Can they make the playoff run?
Yep. Again, it's going to be, can you deal with Waldorf, who should be better this year, and Valley City State, who also should be a decent squad? Can you deal with those challengers? Number 9, Olivet Nazarene. Coming up a couple spots here. That's our pick for the Midwest. Should have a really good squad again with Eric Heyman's gold standard.
Just looking up and down the Olivet Nazarene schedule, they start off back-to-back against two Mid-East teams that have a lot to prove themselves with Siena Heights, Indiana Wesleyan.
That'll set the tone.
We will know by Saturday the 18th around 11 p.m. if Olivet Nazarene is the real deal again or not.
Yeah, that is the truth right there. Siena Heights, I feel like, has a lot to prove after last year as well. Number 8, you've got Reinhardt returning people left, right, and center off of what was a nasty defense last year and a offense that was surprisingly good through the air.
Reinhardt plays the most unique opener of NAIA season. They play Kennesaw State, an FCS team who is way up there. After that, it's a very manageable schedule that looks like they should run through, at the end of November. I bet they wish they got these two teams early, which I think they beat them no matter what, is Union and Kentucky Christian. Just two programs that have two new head coaches to end the year.
At number 7, we've got Marion. Should be a good squad.
Yeah, absolutely excited to see just Marion pound the football this year.
And at number 6, we've got Concordia here. A lot of Mid-East teams here stacked between 6 and 14.
Which it seems like it always happens that way.
Yeah.
Concordia is going to be another one similar to Olivet Nazarene. They get Roosevelt Saturday, September 18th for week 2. So
I hope y'all are ready for a 7-3 game.
Yeah, we'll see a measuring stick game there.
Absolutely. How mad does Concordia play after getting the short end of the stick?
Absolutely.
If I'm them, I'm using that as some serious chip on your shoulder. The top 5, Kaiser drops back a couple of spots from where they were.
Second week of the season, we're going to see a rematch of the semifinals. Number 1 versus number 5, right there. Lindsey Wilson versus Kaiser. College game day should go to it, but
yeah, they won't. But I'm looking forward to that game.
Absolutely,
so much.
That's going to be a great game.
Number 4, Grandview. Grandview's got a ton coming back, offense and defense. Should be a good year again for the Vikings.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think the front 7 for Grandview is just unbelievable. But then again, their schedule's stacked pretty early too, with a proving Central Methodist who had that blowout win against somebody last year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it absolutely shocked us. And then Benedictine and Baker right after that.
Northwestern comes in at number 3. What do you think about the runners up being at number 3?
I mean, if you watched NAIA football the past couple of years, I know what Northwestern has returning, and I know they have the most recent win against Morningside, but right now it's like 10 out of 11. I just can't go against that history.
Yeah, I mean, and Tyson Koima is going to come back midway through September, and we'll see how well he has recuperated from his injuries. Because at number 2, you've got Morningside. And you remember 2 years ago, we had this whole shtick about how they were waiting to the end of the doggone year.
Why don't Northwestern and Morningside, they're playing the second last week of the season this year. That really needs to be the last week of the season. Would absolutely love that.
Yep. And at number 1 is Lindsey Wilson. The defending national champions, they do get their team off to a quick start against Kaiser. But as Coach Oliver was quick to tell me, we're preparing for Waldorf.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they should.
Or not Waldorf, Weber International.
Weber International, as they should. You never know what Weber has. I was on Weber's campus just 2 months ago, and they've told me this is the best freshman class they've ever had at Weber International. So if I was the defending champs, I would not take anyone lightly and continue that 1-0 mantra.
Hi, this is Sal Avila from Valley City State, and you're listening to NAIAFBALL.
Well, you heard it, guys. Sal from VCSU, and they are the first game, the paint bucket game.
What a unique trophy.
I love it. I haven't quite gotten the story on why it's a paint bucket. And I wonder if it's because of the monochrome helmets that Valley City had, and the pumpkin heads that Jamestown has.
Right.
But that's gonna be an interesting game. It's a great way to kick off the season with a rivalry game. Unfortunately for the Jimmies, I just don't know that they're going to be able to keep up. Their offense really needs to take a step forward with Cade Torgerson at the helm.
And they've had a lot of improvement, the Jimmies have. This is the 3rd year, I think, under Coach Mistro. So, all eyes will be on Jamestown at Valley City State Thursday. It's the only and first college football game to kick off this season.
I love it. Valley City State also returns their quarterback, Jalen Pfeiffer. They've got to find a way to replace Taylor Simmons, who rushed for over 500 yards a year ago at tailback. But I'm calling this one for Valley City State. They get off to a 1-0 start. Now, the other really nice game this weekend is Baker at receiving votes Culver Stockton. Culver had some issues with COVID.
But Culver has the ability to space the field and throw all over you if you're not prepared.
Yeah. I'm taking Baker on this one, but I think Culver Stockton is going to make them – they're going to make them nervous.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that is all we have for you tonight. We will be back next week with a recap of our games of the week. I don't think we're going to have a new poll next week since it's week 0.
Right. It should be the same poll, yeah.
Yep. So do look out for some new graphics from us. We got an intern this year. Thanks so much to Matt Schwartzler from Dakota Wesleyan, who is doing graphics for us. Does a great job. Looking forward to using his talents this year. Matt is actually also one of our voters for the poll as well. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be a great season. I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be the best competition I think the NAIA may have ever seen in its history.
No, I absolutely agree. And I think just just getting some experienced players an extra year. I think you're right.
So for John Cooper, I'm Cory Thorpe, and this has been the NAIF Ball Show powered by AdCraft USA.
Have a great night, guys. I got choir practice.